So I have been on a road trip and actually, ow, sitting in this way is not helping me, but I know some yoga will help me, right? River Owen. So our body gets all tight and we're sitting still in a road trip, but that's often what we do in real life, right? So let's get moving and grooving and try to help my body and hopefully yours feel better. So, first thing we're going to do is cat cow. Come here, Owen. Cat cow, knees are hip width apart or wider. Same with your arms and hands. On an exhale, arch the back upward. See, I can feel a stretch right here. Drop the head, tuck the tailbone a little bit, release on an inhale. Allow your spine to relax towards the floor. Head lifts a little, tailbone lifts a little. Exhale, reverse it again. You're pushing away from the floor, separating the shoulder blades. And then as you relax towards the floor with your spine, shoulder blades slide together again. Couple more. Cat cow. And release to cow. Arching upwards is cat. See, and just that I can feel my back is a little bit better already. And recover. All right. For this next one, you can sit on your feet or heels like I'm doing. You could sit cross-legged, but you might want to put a pillow or a yoga block under your hips for it. Just going to do a side stretch. So left hand to the floor, right fingertips to your shoulder. Oof. Try to relax through your waistline. And for some reason, I'm really tight on this side. I'm going to lift my elbow. That's going to deepen the stretch a little bit. Yep. If you want to extend your arm, that weight, along with bending your left elbow. Oof. Not too much, but enough. On an exhale, come up. Boy, yeah, something's going on that side on me, which just means I'm going to watch it. Fingertips of your left hand to your left shoulder, right hand on the floor, lean that direction. Try and relax through my waistline. Lift my left elbow. I'm going to extend my left arm. And I'm bending my right elbow a little. That will also deepen the stretch a bit. Exhale up. I'm going to do the first side just briefly, see if anything has changed. Lifting the elbow again and reaching again. And that's what I thought. Sometimes I'm going to come on up. Sometimes when I do a right and a left and go back to the first side, whichever is first, go back to it after you've done the second side. And it feels like something kind of magically shifts. And that's what happened there. All right. I'm going to go for a straddle split or straddle stretch. I'm going to start kind of slow. Move that plant out of my way. All right. So I'm hands in front. And I tip forward from my hip joints. Okay, that's better than I thought. I'm not as humbled as I thought I was. But I swear it's because of what I just did. The cat cow and that side bend. Because I did this yesterday and I could barely move. Exhale, come on up. So what we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to do a side stretch. Sorry, my plant is in my way. It's pretty, but it's in the way. We're going to do a side stretch each direction, then go back to that forward fold and see what changes. So right hand to the floor, left fingertips to your shoulder, your ipsilateral shoulder. That means same-sided shoulder. So if I had said contralateral shoulder, I would cross to the opposite. But ipsilateral is the same side. So my elbow is close to the floor, but not quite, and I'm not going to push it. You're going to feel this as if I have to tell you in your inner thighs or adductor muscles. I'm going to extend my left arm over. I'm going to hold this about 2 more counts or breaths. Exhale to come up. Pull in your stomach and come on up. All right, other side. Right fingers to its ipsilateral shoulder. Left hand on the floor or on your leg. Taking your time. Notice the difference between your 2 legs. So one thing with breathing and stretching feels like pain to start with. Hopefully a mild kind of a, ooh, I can feel that. I'm going to lift my elbow and extend my arm. But an appropriate stretch eases up with a few breaths. There's no shaking of the leg. I'm coming up on an exhale. There's no shaking of the leg or arm. There's no stopping of the breath. There's no plane of sensation. You want the sensation to decrease. You want your breathing to be easier. So let's go back into the second side. If you're overstretching, you're going to feel that quivering. You're not going to be able to breathe, and you're not going to feel yourself progress in the stretch. Actually, let's go forward first. So hands in front, hinging from your hips. So I'm not rounding over in my spine. I'm maintaining a fairly flat back and just hinging forward. So inner thigh stretch to the max. And I just wait. And I wait. There it releases. If I push a stretch or if I pull a stretch, I don't release. But if I'm patient, and that was a little bit more. So I'm going to do this one more round, not as long. First to the right. Yep, and I can feel it inner thigh as well as some hamstring. Exhale to come up. Other side. Choosing your arm. Inner thigh, hamstring. Exhale to come up. Last time. So my tightness, yeah, and that's better. I'm gonna wait 2 more breaths and walk up. So I know I'm not going to gain all my flexibility back in one yoga session, but I do know that when I stretch slowly and do it, actually repeat my stretches just like I demonstrated, I get further. I know I do. All right, so now we're going to do more into the hamstring. So we start seated. My left leg is just anywhere on my right. Really doesn't matter in a way. But again, we want to start with a neutral spine, hinging forward from the hips. And honestly, I can feel it right where my hamstring attaches to my pelvis. This is about it for now. All right? So see if you can kind of mentally take a photograph where you think you are. And we're going to do a little hamstring stretch enhancer practice. All right? All right. So here's what we do. I'm going to come onto my back. I love this, as you know. Extend my left leg, wrap my hands around my right leg, and I'm going to push my leg in the direction of my heel. All right. But my hands are going to make that impossible. So here I go. I push my leg, which engages my hamstring. I'm doing a contraction on the back of my leg, and I release. I'm going to do that again. I come to my edge, which is already further than the first time. I resist. My arms make this impossible, but my heel and my leg are pushing as hard as they can towards the direction of my heel, and I release. All right, what? Whoa. All right, I've got it in mind where I could go in this forward fold a moment ago. It's in my brain. I start with a neutral spine. I hinge over. Oh, a lot further. A lot further. So you could do that a couple more times if you want, but I'm going to go to the second side. Right, Owen? Right, River? So it's always interesting to me to notice the differences between two sides of my body. Right side, of course, is my driving leg. I do have cruise control, but I don't always use it. And of course, in towns, I can't use it. But this leg actually was more mobile than the first one. But that's not my driving leg, right? All right, so same maneuver here. Lace my hands behind my left leg. I'm going to push in the direction of my heel. So I push, push, push. Oh. And I release. And my leg automatically wants to come in the direction of my head, which is the superior direction. So one more time, I press into my hands. My hands make it impossible for my leg to move, but I'm really pushing, really contracting my hamstring. And I release. And let's sit up. And I'm going to check what distance I gained. So I sit in neutral spine, start hinging over first from the hip joints, and slowly round over. So that feels much easier after that. It's actually a somatic maneuver, what we just did. Somatics is always based on this idea of an intentional contraction of a muscle and then an intentional release of that muscle. And that, I don't want to say tricks the muscle into relaxing, but the effect is that that muscle does relax. Initial contraction, intentional initial contraction, and then intentional relaxation. All right, what else should we do? Let's do a quad stretch. I'm going to pull this little box out a little bit so I can use it as a prop. So our quad stretch could be done standing as well. But first we're going to do a lunge. Actually, let's do this lunge because this will be good for our psoas muscle. Psoas starts on your back in the lumbar area and then goes diagonally through the body and attaches in the front of the hip area. So it's a hip flexor. It's the deepest muscle in our body. I'm going to tuck under my left toes, extend that leg. And I'm using my left arm for some support. If I come up all the way onto my leg muscles actually engage. And I don't want to do that because I'm stretching. So I'm going to come back down on my left hand, and then my leg muscles can relax because my left arm is doing the work of supporting me. All right, I'm going to lower the back knee. Shift your hips back just initially for a little bit. Grab your back foot if you can. And right here, I don't even have to go very far. And I can feel that stretch from the top of my quad all the way through the belly of it. So standing, that same stretch would look like this. Grabbing my foot, pulling the foot towards my buttocks, and then I can press my knee back if I want to, increasing the stretch a bit. All right, let's release that first leg. I'll demonstrate standing. So now I'm on my right side. Grab my right foot, draw it towards my pelvis, my po-po, and then pressing the knee back, or doing it this way. Moving into that deep stretch. So it's worse on the right side, but again, that's from, I'm assuming from driving after this long car ride. Tuck my back toes under. I'm kind of creating a sling out of my hip to leg. My arms are supporting, and I'm just letting that sling kind of hang. Oh, lower that knee. So if you want to, or if you haven't already, for this kneeling stretch, grab the back foot with the ipsilateral arm. Ease your way into it. Oh, wow. Hello, quadricep. That is tight. Wowzer. And I stretched it standing up already. My. Which just shows me that this kneeling version of that stretch is quite a stretch. All right, so let's see, we've done hamstrings, we've done inner thigh, we've done quads. Let's do actually a standing forward fold. And which will be another hamstring stretch. It will also be a low back stretch, and that'll be our last thing. So I'm going to use this box again. And the pose that we're going to do is called pyramid pose. So stepping my left leg back, you can see my legs make kind of a triangle. Weight is centered between the feet. It's not shifted back into the back leg. Keep it centered between the legs. Actually, I'm going to put my foot on the side there. There we go. That's better. I hinge over in my hip joints, just like I've been saying, and my hand goes to that box. And then leaning on my arms, I can support myself. That front leg relaxes more. You can adjust your legs if you feel the need. I wanted to creepy crawl my toes a little forward. Now I'm going to bend my elbows just a little, increasing the stretch a little, very mindfully. And at some point, as you can see in my back starts rounding. That's okay. We start with flexion in the hip joints, and then we move into the rounding of the back. All right, that's enough for me. I'm going to crawl my way up and change legs. So a wide triangle with my legs. I start hinging forward in the pelvis. Using my arms for support on this. This actually is an antique, kind of an ice box that in my hometown we would have these on our back step, and the milkman would come and deliver our milk or cottage cheese and put it in this kind of cooler box. All right, so now I've transitioned to my hands, supporting my body, my torso, so that my legs can relax and therefore stretch further. I'm going to bend my elbows just a little. You don't have to, or you might, or you might micro bend them. That's actually what I'm doing. Barely bending those elbows. And that's enough for me. I'm going to bend this front leg, crawl my way up, and actually, I'm going to change this just a smidgen. Here's something I would always do with my classes, and I think I just call them arm swings. So my weight is going back and forth between my legs, and I'm just letting my arms swing and whap with centrifugal force. I'm not controlling my arms, in other words. Now arms swinging this way. And I just bounce with my thighs and my knees. Now one more thing. Start with your weight centered between your feet, and then just shift your weight into one hip. I always say like you're waiting in the line at the grocery store. And actually what that does is helps our low back and the muscles of the pelvis relax. So this knee is bending when I shift to the opposite direction. I shift this way now, and the other knee bends. It allows the pelvis to drop. Okay, just back and forth a little bit. All right, that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this practice of stretching after a long road trip. Let me know if you have stretching questions or if this was of benefit to you and your, stiff muscles. Always be gentle, but know that we all can increase our flexibility to its maximum range. If this is helpful, please subscribe. Otherwise, just have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everyone.